Hey, this is Healthful. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jade.
So grab a tea and let's get started. So, I don't know about you, Jade, but I like to participate in some recreational drinking.
I think we've all been there before. Hey?
We've all been there, we've all done that, and we all love a little bevy on a weekend. Would we be Australian if we didn't?
That's right. The little shoeies and the whatever else.
The shoeies and the fishies and the...
What's a fishy?
You drink from a fish?
Ew. That's a thing?
Yeah, I don't like it because I feel like it's very mean to the fish, but you get a fish and you shove a beer can in the fish's mouth and then you drink from the fish.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't appreciate it.
I don't like that for lots of reasons. But I'm just thinking too, the beer would taste pretty fishy. Like, that's a bit gross. That
yuck.
poor fish.
I'm just getting like flashbacks to my fish oil that I take in the morning. Like, not nice. Anyway, we digress. We're talking about AL-CO-MA-HOL.
AL-CO-MA-HOL specifically.
AL-CO-MA-HOL, get in my hole. Okay, let's rewind that. That never happened.
Out of the gutter
Get the head out of the gutter. My God, this is a kid-friendly channel. It really isn't.
No, I tick no on the YouTube channel. Like, is this for kids? I'm like, no.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely not. But the AL-CO-MA-HOLs, I don't do very well with alcohol.
No.
I never have.
I mean, look, there's many reasons why that might be.
Oh, yeah. You know, the first time I discovered this problem, so I have a problem.
Share. We're here for you.
So the first time I actually had proper, like full-on had a proper drink was at my 16th birthday. And we felt so cool.
My God, you little hooligan!
Like, had sippy, you know, you have your sippies and stuff, but I don't know, we never, like...
I tried my dad's beer!
Yeah, oh my God, I had alcohol, but like my first proper full-on alcoholic drink by myself was when I was 16.
Oh my God.
And I know, I'm a bit sheltered.
That's not even legal.
Shh, it was under supervision. It was actually under supervision. Mum was totally fine with that, but it was the first time that I actually discovered I get this red flush reaction. And I didn't know what it was at the time. So I remember drinking, I think it was a cruiser, like a vodka cruiser.
Fruit beers!
As you do when you're 16. But I remember drinking it and then I started feeling really hot. Not that long after. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then my friends were like,
is it hot in here?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a bit warm. And my friends were like, your face is like really red. And I was like, oh, and I sort of didn't really think much about it at the time. And then obviously through the rest of my teenage years, you know, you party, you go to things like that.
You dabble.
And it was then that I actually realized I actually have a problem with alcohol. And my mum said to me, she's like, yeah, that's why I don't drink. I'm like, I don't think that's the only reason why she doesn't. I think she just chooses not to drink, which is fine. But she reckoned that she would get the same thing. And it would like flare her eczema up and everything. Lo and behold, I have the same problems. But this red reaction, it's actually because I'm one of the 20-30%, whatever it is, of Southeast Asians that don't have the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. So my liver can't actually break alcohol down the way a normal person would. Which means it accumulates in my system really quickly and I'm a cheap drunk. Which isn't always a bad thing. Well, maybe it's not a bad thing, hey?
Yeah, it's just the whole, like, the rash and everything. Yeah. That's not great. But the cheap drunk, awesome, amazing.
That's a bonus, but
that's brilliant.
And for the longest time, people didn't understand how awful this red reaction
Yeah, they're just like, you're just red, right?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I get red when I drink, my nose gets red. I'm like, no, you do not understand how bad.
When you understand the metabolic reactions
That's right.
of like what actually is happening, it's like toxicity build-up, isn't it?
I'm actually poisoning myself. I'm literally poisoning myself every time that reaction happens.
Yeah.
And, it was so frustrating that people just didn't understand that, and I'd be peer pressured into, say, sculling a drink. It's like, come on, hurry up, drink your drink, or finish your drink.
Scoop,
literally.
Scoop.
And so you'd obviously, you can give in to peer pressure pretty easily, and next minute I'm vomiting in the corner, like so fast, and people are like, oh,
maybe I shouldn't have pushed her.
And you think so. Yeah, so it's not great. I don't drink a lot for that very reason. I love wine. I would love to be able to just sit there and enjoy a drink at my, say a dinner table or something like that. But I can't. I just can't.
You've tried taking those little tablet things,
I have,
though,
yeah.
right?
I've tried lots of different things over the years. So, not that I'm trying to encourage people to take drugs and alcohol at the same time, but I've tried. I remember early on, I had lots of people say, oh, like antihistamine works really well, because they sort of thought it was a allergic reaction.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to take an antihistamine, but it never worked. It like never did anything. And then somehow along the line, Asians got super clever and found that Zantac, which is more of an antacid, helps it more.
Right.
So I did find that...
There's some poor Asian guy who's just like, I just really want to be able to do that freaking bevy, you know?
and not go red and feel sick.
I need to, like, win the chugging state championship.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to figure it out.
So I've got to take these drugs. So Zantac, of all things, which you now can't get just over the counter, you have to actually have some sort of prescription for it, would help reduce that reaction so much more. Still happened a little bit for me. I guess it depended on how bad... your physiology was with processing alcohol, but it sort of took the edge off a little bit, so I could kind of go out and enjoy a couple of drinks and not feel awful.
As bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'll describe it like this. So people, again, they think it's just going red, and that's no big deal. I'm like, oh my god, if it was just going red, I would not have a problem with this.
Yeah, it'd be like, no worries.
Bit of redness, that's fine. It is a full body reaction, like my whole top to toe. And other Asians who get this, you guys will agree with me. Head to toe, you go red. And it is like a tomato red. Like it is, you can see the pink flush come through like crazy. To the point your eyeballs go red. Like the whites of your eyes go completely red.
Ooh.
Yep. And your whole body just feels like it's pulsating. It is like, people have actually touched my carotid artery and gone, oh my God, your pulse is just so, it's pounding. Like it's, it's really bad. And then as a consequence, if you sort of push the boundary too much,
you get quite sick.
I get very sick. I like hit a brick wall and I cannot stand up because it feels more comfortable to be, bent over, kneeling
Hunched
on the
over in a
floor.
ball.
Yeah, in the
or
fetal
you pass
position.
the F out.
Yeah, or that, which, thankfully I don't vomit very often, but just that awful feeling of being really, really ill, and just the whole room is just absolutely spinning, and it's the worst feeling ever. Like,
it's probably like your extreme would be someone who literally made themselves paralytic with alcohol, is what you get maybe after a few, right?
Oh, it's sometimes even like a few sips.
Oh my God,
I know.
you poor thing.
So if I have a glass of wine at dinner, people are like, oh my God, you haven't even finished your glass and it's the end of the night. I'm like, I can't drink it quickly. So it's
a
annoying.
Very extreme reaction. Yeah, so maybe, look, like I'm like, oh yeah, no worries, we all dabble, but don't you dabble. No dabbling for you.
No dabbling for me.
No dipping your toes in.
No.
Maybe just stick to water.
Yeah, and it's hard because my mother-in-law is actually a winemaker, and I think for the longest time my in-laws didn't fully understand how bad my reaction was too, and it was only after a number of years I actually worked, oh, it's an allergy, and I'm like, yes! I get physically sick from this.
Like, it's not even like, I don't know, is it even an allergy though? Because it's just like a chemical reaction that happens within your specific...
It's a lack of breakdown. I just have circulating alcohol throughout my system, and it compounds, so the more I drink, obviously, the worse it gets.
And more intense it gets.
Yeah.
I do not have that reaction.
Yeah, you're lucky. No, people always say to me, oh no, you're lucky. I'm like, oh no.
I don't know. I don't think I'd like that. I don't think I'd like to, I enjoy having a bev from time to time. I do. I love it. And, like, I'm not going to come in here and be like, I never drink alcohol.
Never drink.
I know how bad it is to my health. Like, yeah, I know how bad it is, but it's fun, so I'm going to do it.
And I like the flavors.
And it tastes good. But, yeah, like... I think that's one thing that I really want to specialize in when I become a fully qualified nutritionist. I want people to be able to come to me and be like, yo, okay, I annihilated my body over the weekend. I thrashed that thing like up against a brick wall. Like it was just repeated abuse.
It died and came back from heaven.
It died. I definitely have died, and I need help. And I want to be able to help people without judgment. Not being like, oh, you should just not drink anymore, because that's not realistic.
No.
It's not realistic in the slightest because, it happens. We all have fun.
You have social occasions like weddings and parties, and
especially in Australia. Like, is it even a gathering if no one's like thrown up in a bush,
or done a goon of fortune?
Oh, goon of fortune! Speaking of goon, Aldi sells alcohol in New South Wales, and they're raz in a box. Me and my friends always calls it raz in a box. Instead of goon, it's raz in a box.
Raz in a box. It sounds a bit fancier.
Raz in a box. It is delicious. It is totally awesome.
I can't imagine cask wine even at Aldi tasting pretty good.
It's actually good. I mean, look, this is coming from someone who's only recently got into wine drinking, but that goon is good shit.
Look, if it graduates you onto the better stuff,
it's a gateway drug.
It is. It certainly is.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. Anyway, what was I talking about? Alcohol. Yes.
Alcohol in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I personally just try and, if I do happen to have a big night, I just try and bring myself body back. You know, next day, have your electrolytes. You pretty much, you know, completely dried your whole body out. You're practically a prune after a big
Oh my God,
night
you
out.
always wake up and feel like a sponge. Like a dry sponge.
Yeah, that's been left out in the sun. You know, like one of those sponges that washes up on the beach and they're just all crusty and sandy.
Yeah, that's
and they're
what
like,
you feel like when you wake up the next morning after a big night.
Exactly. So, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm absolutely going to be trying to eat some stuff that's going to make me feel good. I know it's so easy to just jump to like chips and burgers and stuff, but like try and get some good shit in you. Your liver's just gone through a very, very intense...
It's very traumatic.
Yeah, occasion, and it needs some help. So, you know, honestly, focus on your liver. Have your greens. You know, have a green juice if you can. You know, if you can stomach a green juice, intensify some greens into your system. Get your liver back because it's struggling.
Yeah,
it's having
it
a hard
needs all
time.
those antioxidants.
It needs all the help it can get. Give it a big hug.
That's right. Lots
Drink
of water.
Electrolytes. You know, get a Gatorade.
Yep.
You know, and also too, something that's really good for cleansing your liver is dandelion root. So make yourself dandelion root tea. That might give it a bit of a head start as well.
That's
all
right.
that detox stuff.
Oh, if you got a bit of aloe at home, aloe vera.
Oh yeah, aloe vera juice
vera.
is good.
Beetroot too is a good
Beetroots.
one.
I didn't know that one.
Not that you're juicing beetroots first thing in the morning when you've woken up.
You've got a hangover and you're like, I'm just going to juice some beetroot.
Some celery, or, you know.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't really have any remedies because I just feel so awful afterwards. Like, I just literally have to have the next day to like recover.
I have a lot of friends, right, that before they've started drinking, they will actually like get themselves ready before they've even come home. So they'll put themselves out with a glass of water beside their bed and some Panadol. Yeah. And they're ready. They're like, okay, I can just fall right onto that thing. I can wake up in the morning, chug some water, and I'll be right as rain. I am not right as rain.
I know people that towards the end of their night, they'll have tons of water in between. If they're still drinking, they'll have lots of water in between. Does it actually do anything? I've had friends that say it works. Like they don't get hangovers from it because they're just hydrating a bit more.
Because, I mean, like, hangover technically is just, like, your body is so, like, dehydrated that it's caused this problem, right?
And your poor liver's just completely stuffed.
It's a shriveled grape.
Yeah.
It's a sultana. It like used to be a grape and now it's a sultana.
It's like the sponge on the beach in your body.
Yeah, the real sponge on the beach is your liver.
That's right. But, yeah, water's definitely key. Like, I know times where if I can get some adequate water in me before I go home, then I'm sort of a bit better in the morning. But the next morning, just chugging heaps of water. Sometimes I don't feel well enough to even eat anything, which sounds really terrible.
Yeah, often, like, I've done that, and the only thing that's been made it better is throwing up.
Yeah.
Once I've thrown up, I feel much better.
Yeah, it's gotten all that terrible stuff out of your system.
Terrible stuff out of your system, and then you can actually start putting some good stuff back in.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm not saying that go do it every single weekend, but I don't feel bad if you do. Like,
again,
it's fun.
All about having fun. Like, you know, if you're with your friends, again, if you want to let your hair down at a wedding or whatever it is that you're doing, like, by all means.
I cannot wait for my friends to start getting married. Oh, what a party that's going to be.
They are good fun weddings.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the other option now, companies are bringing out a lot of alcohol-free beverages. So I've been on the mocktail train a lot lately. Like every time I go to a restaurant, I'll often, if I don't really feel like having any kind of alcoholic beverage, I'll look at what they have non-alcoholic, because a lot of restaurants, that menu's growing more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because more and more I think people are realizing there are other alternatives. Yeah. And peer pressure is not cool, guys.
No.
It's not cool.
So whether, again, it's a zero alcohol beer or wine or whatever, I've had some interesting alcohol-free wines. That's a whole subculture in itself, so that's really interesting.
I feel like alcohol-free beer is also coming around to being a little bit more socially accepted. Yep. I had a friend who had quite a serious beer addiction, but it turns out it wasn't even the fact that the alcohol she liked. She just really loved the taste of beer. Yeah. So now she just drinks alcohol-free beers and she has a great time.
That'd be like me with wine. Like, I like the taste of wine, but I hate the alcoholic part of it.
Yeah.
But I can't say I've had a non-alcoholic wine that tastes similar to wine yet. Yeah.
All the ones I've seen just taste like sparkling grape juice, and I love them, but they're not that
You're like, I know I'm not drinking wine. Whereas I think with a beer, an alcohol-free beer, you kind of like, I feel like
it does taste a little bit like the dirty bread water.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right, exactly.
Oh, I hate beer.
So I can't do beer. Like, I really can't do beer.
I love ginger beer and I love cider, even though it doesn't really love me. But I hate beer. The only time I'll ever drink beer is if I do get intoxicated and someone's like, beer pong, and I'm like,
okay.
fine, okay, you twisted my arm. Let's do it. Let's play.
See, I could never ever do that.
I cannot imagine you playing beer pong full stop.
Full stop, yeah. That's not my jam. But yeah, I would die.
Wine pong?
Yeah, put the whole bottle of wine.
Hasn't quite got the same ring to it.
No.
Oh my god, you'd get so messed up if you did wine beer pong.
I literally would be dead. I reckon I would literally die. So it just would obliterate my system. Yeah. I would be poisoned. Actually, you know, there's research out there with the red reaction that I get. Apparently, if you let that happen often enough, it actually increases your chance of having heart attack.
Whoa.
So it's kind of scary because, like, when I heard that bit of research, I was like, oh my god, that you know, that throbby thing that I was describing before, that's my heart racing. And I'm like, oh my god, I could literally
sending your body into shock.
Yeah, like it's pumping way too hard for that reason. I could literally have a heart attack right now and die.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
maybe
another reason why you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
So, like, most people now in my life now know I don't really drink a whole lot, and it's for that reason. I'm not to say I don't, but
I know you don't.
Like, I definitely will, but I would be very picky and choosy with when I would do it.
Yeah.
And with what. Like, I'm not just going to pick up anything and drink that. I'd have to be really
I have seen
specific.
some people literally just want to get drunk so bad that they'll pick up random cups and just start drinking.
Ew.
And I'm like, you are disgusting. Have some class.
Yeah, exactly. Pull your socks up. But yeah, no, that's a bit gross.
And I think there's like little things that you can do, alcohols that you can choose that are actually better for your body, that it won't cause a serious reaction. Like, I've noticed that if I do drink cider or I do drink ginger beer, I get very, very bloated. I don't know if it's the yeast or something inside it, but it doesn't agree with me very well. But if I have something like vodka or gin and then have it with like soda water, or I love vodka lemon lime bitters, that shit is delicious. You know, that I have much less bad reaction. And I think, it's not as bad for you because it's like a clean spirit.
A pure spirit. It's not been through a fermentation process or had sulfites added to it as a preservative and that sort of thing. Which, as a lot of people know, sulfites are part of the thing in wine that gives you the hangover.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because people, or red wine specifically. And people get really histamine reaction-y afterwards. Like, they get really sinusy and all that too. Yeah, wow. After red wine or migraines.
I suppose when it says like sulfite free, that's probably not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because like you'll talk to, say, people who do make wine for a living and they go, oh, look, you really need to have just a little bit of sulfite in there for the stability, like the preservative nature of it. Otherwise the wine
goes bad.
Yeah, it goes a bit
Turns
yucky.
to vinegar.
Turns a bit gross. Yeah. Like, if you leave the bottle open, for example, or if you opened it and you don't want to drink the whole thing, it's not going to last as long. You'll probably have to toss it out the next day, maybe.
Just drink the whole bottle.
Just
problem solved.
Exactly. I love that we're solving all the world's problems one at a time. Just drink the whole bottle of wine.
Won't get bad wine if you drink the whole thing at once.
You haven't wasted anything.
Well, like my mum, she swears by organic wine. So she's just like, oh yeah, if I have organic wine, it's way better because
or biodynamic or whatever that means.
Yeah, because it doesn't have all that shit in it. She knows that it doesn't make her feel as horrible. Yes, but you know, I don't think it lasts as long. And don't get me wrong, those organic rosés, delicious. Delish.
There you go. Oh.
So what's the takeaway from this? I think that it's okay sometimes. We all do it. We all have those moments. Even we have those moments where we, you know,
we're not purists, as we have said in previous episodes.
Me especially not.
We like to, you know, enjoy life.
And we like to be realistic and real. You know, like it's part of life, especially in Australia.
I know. It's part of our culture, really.
Yeah.
Well, really, when you think about it, it's part of the cultures of everyone.
Yeah,
every culture
actually,
has some sort of alcohol that is theirs. Like the Japanese with sake, or you know, umeshu in. Is that Korean? I'm pretty sure that's Korean.
I don't know.
The plum wine. It's Korean or Japanese.
Oh, I love plum wine.
Or rice wine, or
plum wine's Japanese, isn't it?
I think there's a hybrid between Japanese and Korean alcohols.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, Chinese have their own.
God, I miss plum wine. We should go get some of that.
Speaking of alcohol, let's go.
Let's go have one.
Yeah, every culture has their own drink, and it has been like that.
Yeah,
you know,
and
centuries.
it's a thing that we share. It's an amazing thing that good old Jesus Christ brought into our lives.
But yeah, the take home is be safe, kids. Just
And
drink in moderation.
Yeah, drink in moderation, but it's okay sometimes. And there's little things that you can do to
help
obviously
out.
help your liver out after such a terrifying experience.
That's right. The poor thing, it needs a bit of rest time. And it does more than just process alcohol. Remember that. It does everything for us. Like, we really couldn't function without a liver.
Liver, very, very important. Love your liver. Ooh, I like that.
Beautiful alliteration. I love that.
Amazing.
Love your liver.
Well, if you have any questions, concerns, queries, thoughts, opinions, hit us up on the Healthful Podcast Gals on Instagram.
Or we've got our own socials. We've got Raw and Real Nutrition for M.
And Captain Jade Spatter.
Yes. There's a story behind that if people are interested. And of course, we're on Facebook, and we do have our podcast naturally on Spotify and all of the major podcast platforms. So until next time.
I need to crack you open like a walnut.
I'm like, I'm gonna comfort you with a broom.
Comfort you with a broom?
There.
There.
Yeah.